Good. So while the rest of the people connect, because I saw there are some people trying to connect. Hello, hi everyone. A very warm welcome to this as a copy webinar. I am Andrea Cardona, as a copy spokesperson and treasurer. And on behalf of the board of directors, we are thrilled to have you with us today. So whether you have attended our events before or this is your first time, thank you for being part of this growing community. So let us briefly introduce ourselves. So as you will see on screen, we are obviously as a copy is Colombia's National English Teachers Association. And for the past 6 decades, we have worked to support English language educators across the country through research initiatives, professional learning opportunities, and community building efforts, such as the ones that you can see on screen. We have our national and international conference. We have teacher training programs, such as this webinar. We have some workshops, some diploma courses. By the way, yesterday we started one of them, and there are some coming up. So please be attentive to the As a Copy social networks. You are going to find all the information there. So today's session is just one example of the many activities that we offer throughout the year. So teachers, if you want to stay in the loop, be sure to follow us on our social media channels, and you will find updates on, as I told you, upcoming events, all the webinars that we have throughout the years, training courses. So talking about that, on that note, we are excited to remind you of our annual conference in Santa Marta. And it's the perfect chance to connect with fellow teachers, to share insights, and to take your professional journey to the next level. So I have a special message for all of you. Let's see. Jonathan, can you tell me if you can actually hear? Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, we can.
This year, we're celebrating our 60th anniversary. Come join us next October the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th. We can't wait to meet you all here in Santa Marta.
Remember that as a copy, it's you, me, and all of us.
Come to celebrate with us.
So just a quick message to invite you. Okay, so now that we have welcomed everybody, I see a lot of people joining. These are going to be our plenary speakers this year. We have 2 international keynote speakers, then we have 4 national keynote speakers. So we have Professor Astrid Núñez Pardo, Professor José Vicente Abad, Professor Isabel Tejada Sanchez, that are our Colombian keynote speakers, along with, as you can see right in the middle, Professor David Alfonso Suaza. He is the school teacher that was chosen to be our plenary speaker this year in our conference. And our international speakers, we have Dr. Veronica Tarayo from the Philippines and Dr. Mallory Campo from the United States. So teachers, if you're not yet an As a Copy member, this is a great time to join. Members enjoy a range of exclusive benefits from resource access and event discounts, for example, and all the different participation things that you can have. So you are guaranteed to be part of Colombian's ELT scene. So that's really nice. Now, today we are honored Professor Yamit Caviedes Roa with us. And Professor Yamit holds a BA in English language teaching and specialization in pedagogy, both of them from Universidad de la Amazonía, and an MA in linguistics from Universidad Pedagógica y Tecnológica de Colombia. So he has experience in teaching at a university, secondary, and elementary levels. And currently, he is a teacher at the Dallas Independent School District in Texas, as you can see there. So, welcome, Professor Yamit, and I'm going to stop sharing. All yours.
Thank you, Andrea. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you, Professor Vasquez, Professor Jonathan, and As a Copy in general for having me this afternoon. Today I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my experience, a little bit about the journey that I have had teaching in Texas, and then being a teacher in Texas, how the process been, what I've learned, a couple insights that I have had, and some things that I've learned, of course, along the way. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you as a copy for having me. I don't know if you can see my presentation as I move the slides. Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Okay, perfect. So today I just want to tell you a little bit about me, who am I, this journey that I've had as a teacher in Texas, some challenges and opportunities of growth, and a couple things to J1 teachers, current J1 teachers or prospective J1 teachers that want to come, want to go to the US or hopefully to Dallas to teach. And then, of course, some questions and answers, and I will be more than happy to provide. As you said before, I am Jamit Cavides. I am originally from Caquetá, Colombia. So I am just as Professor Vasquez. I am also Caqueteño. I have been a teacher for around 9 years. I was a teacher for 7 years in Colombia. I taught um, in elementary level, in secondary level, and also in university level before coming to the US, which is where I've been teaching for the last 2 years. And yeah, I started this journey in 2023, to be more specific, in the summer of 2023. I went to the US. Right now, I'm in Colombia, enjoying my summer, but I will be back on duty on August. So the main reason why I came to the US was to experience and to learn. After some time, I thought that I had um, entered like in a kind of like mm, a comfort zone. So I decided that it was time to level up my game a little bit up, and then face myself and challenge myself with other spaces, other schools, other communities, and I wanted to live abroad for a couple time. Uh, so I decided to take the leap and just go. I initially started teaching in a Montessori school, so I was assigned as a teacher for first, second, and third grade in um in a Montessori school. But then I became a teacher, or I moved to a new school, and now I'm a teacher of fifth grade in an all girls school, and I teach reading and social studies. During this first year, I was in lower elementary, as I told you. But both of these schools are from Dallas Independent School District, which is my direct employer. Um, Dallas, it's a big city, it's a big metropolis. It's hot, as you can imagine, because it's even though it's northern Texas, it's still the south, so it is very hot. Everything is big. They say that everything is bigger in Texas, and yes, Texas is definitely bigger. Um, and of course, the experience of moving to Dallas was new. All these other cities in Colombia and all the places that I've been living for the last couple of years are different in many aspects, in many ways. And then, of course, moving to Dallas felt like a thousand things at the same time. Your brain goes a little bit into survival mode when you migrate, when you decide to move to a new country. And I'm pretty sure that a couple people in this webinar can agree with me that moving to another country is challenging in many aspects. Um, Particularly, the Dallas ISD, or the Dallas Independent School District, is the biggest district or educational organization in the zone. Um, and then Dallas has around 240 schools with almost 10,000 teachers, around 140,000 students. Um, it has the largest dual language program in the nation, with 158 schools. And then the dual language programs, I will explain a little bit later. but it is basically focused or aimed at offering educational opportunities to students who are emerging bilinguals. Um, this is the second largest public district in the nation in Texas and the 16th is in the nation. Um, so it is pretty huge. One thing which is, at least for me, an advantage is that out of these almost 140,000 students, 71% of these students are Hispanic, meaning coming from countries like Guatemala, El Salvador, Mexico, Colombia, Venezuela. So we have a lot of Hispanic students, and that is also one of the main reasons why Dallas ISD is hiring teachers from Latino countries to help cover this need, this educational need. Of course, there it is diverse, and then we also have African American students, we have white students, and then Asian students, encompassing just as the Hispanic term, the Asian term encompasses many other cultures and people coming from many different countries. Um, as I said before, my current workplace is Solar Preparatory School for Girls. It is a unique all girls STEAM focused school that emphasizes leadership and empowerment. It is located just a few minutes from downtown Dallas. Um, and this school, it's where I decided to move after being at the Montessori school. Um, the STEAM stands for a school that focuses a lot on science and mathematics. So this is a school which has a great component of that in the curriculum, in their instruction, but also in the culture of the school. For the last school year, I was a fifth grade reading teacher, but also the dual language teacher and the social studies teacher. I was the homeroom teacher for 5A. They're also divided into sections. Me having the biggest section because it was the dual language group, so I had around 28 students. But the normal ratio for a classroom in Dallas will be from 17 up to 24 students. That will be like the average for the number of students. This school has a house system, so we're divided in houses. Uh, I I was in the house of Udadisi, which means curiosity, from a language which I cannot recall right now. But it is a house system based on values, which are six core values that the school relies on to foster and to improve and to establish their social emotional learning. Um, uh, I as just as the district in the school, there is like a big difference between the ratio of the students. So 70% of my students, of these girls that I teach, are Latino. But I would say that not all of them are bilingual or fully bilingual. They are emerging bilinguals. Some of them are really well speaking both English and Spanish, but in the case of the school that was particularly on, those are students who are emerging bilingual and who speak, like have stronger skills in English than in Spanish. Usually, these girls are second generation Hispanics, and then they have parents or grandparents who migrated earlier to the US. Um, what else can I tell? Oh, well, this school, as I said before, is strongly focused on the sciences and technology and the development of those competences for girls. And their motto is to educate girls to lead with confidence and purpose. So that is a big component of what they are as a school, which is leading and empowering girls to be leaders ultimately and in the future. Um, I am a teacher for fifth grade reading and social studies. That might change this year as according to the needs and the students of the educational needs of the school, I might be changed. So I might be teaching something different. But most bilingual positions in Dallas ISD are supposed to cover the needs of these emerging bilingual populations, especially in elementary, which is where the gap is more evident. So as the students grow up, they would develop more competences in English, a second language. Um, and in elementary is where the bilingual teachers create the most impact. And that is the main purpose of the J1 program. I would say any J1 program in the US that brings teachers, but for Dallas ISD, the J1s or the J1 teachers that are coming as visiting international teachers to help these to cover this need of teaching emerging bilinguals. The bilingual teachers can be in a one-way or two-way dual language program. Of course, again, it depends on the population of the school and the needs of the school in in that particular zone, because the schools are also divided by zones. The one-way dual language program is usually designed for Spanish-speaking English learners. This is the students who have a stronger competence in Spanish rather than English. So the instruction is both in English and Spanish, and the goal is to reach bilingualism, biliteracy, and academic success for these students. Well, of course, as cultural awareness, which is a big component also of the education here. I particularly work in a two-way dual language program, and this program includes both native speakers and native Spanish speakers, but also English and native speakers. Um, Sometimes classrooms would include students from other cultural backgrounds and students from Southeast Asia or students from Asian origins whose native language or whose primary language is going to be, let's say, Vietnamese or French or maybe another Asian language. But usually, let's say the lingua franca that we use in these spaces or in this classroom is going to be English. That's why the two-way dual language program um, promotes peer-to-peer learning across languages. This is using English as a cultural bridge to bring together all of these differences and all of these cultural um, come get close close all of these cultural gaps. Um, the ultimate goal is literacy, but it is more focused on academic excellence. And because the students from these classrooms are more competent in English, the focus of this classroom would be to create academic strength. So that's the one that I'm teaching on. I'm teaching on a fifth grade dual language two-way classroom. Here's a picture of some of my girls holding the sign of my house. Um, and about the school particularly, um, the model or the teaching model that we implement in this classroom, it encourages a lot hands-on activities, and it relies a lot on blended learning or concepts of blended learning. Even though this is not a must, it is highly encouraged for teachers in the classroom to split their time on a way in which they can use their teaching resources in a more effective way. And the school particularly thought that the blended learning would be the most effective approach for that scenario, for that purpose, because we have students with so many different learning capacities and, of course, learning gaps. Um, the school promotes or tries to promote very specific learning, very specific teaching, and very targeted teaching That's why this approach helps us to break down the classroom into smaller instructional groups that can help you to aim or to focus on the students that need or that have specific needs. Um, and then you might be teaching to a group of very high performing students and then another group of low performing students, all in one single classroom with very specific design activities, with materials that are tailored to their specific needs. Um, Another component which is big in the school where I'm working at right now is the social emotional learning and all the culture that surrounds this concept has come to create a culture within not only the classroom but within the school of students trying to support each other and offering emotional support to each other, and also students being taught how to identify their emotions and like all um uh, their their issues, maybe, well, let's not call it issues, but the best way to we're very focused on trying to support the students not only academically but also emotionally. um the school has many tactics or many tools to do that. There's spaces designed for that. There is peer instruction, but there's also counseling services. There are many services regarding academic, but also emotional situations that need to be addressed between these girls. It is an all-girls school. It does not mean that in Dallas there's only a single gendered schools, but this one particularly is designed for girls. Most schools just work on the with just like the regular populations, like boys and girls. Um, but this one belongs to the Region 5, which is a group of choice schools that which all of them offer specific kinds of instructions or specific approaches of instructions. And then this one mixes blended learning, STEAM, and social emotional learning. Um, so yeah, I pretty much teach reading, and then on a daily basis, I would start teaching about reading comprehensions, about learning how to read and write, and then how to do tests, because that's a, a big part of the system or the American system here, which is tests. So we do a lot of training for that too. Um, Throughout Texas and DISD particularly, the use of specific curricula is preferred. That is why the district spends a lot of money in these already made curricula. Here's an example of the reading curricula. The company that designs this curricula studies the needs of the zone and the needs of the city, and then decides on designs, the particular contents that we teachers have to teach. So on a daily basis, I would use these texts, and these books to provide instructions for reading, and the same is going to be for math. Other than the text and the curricula, we are also provided materials. We're also provided supplies for school. Anything you can imagine or you might need, you're going to find it in the school, and it's going to be provided to you. So there is a lot of, like, some schools are very rigorous with the use of this curricula. Others prefer to diversify their content and teaching practices with their own approaches. But something which remains consistent is the use of TICs, which are specific skills that every student in Texas needs to master in order to be successful academically. This standardized approach tries to ensure that receive the same content, sorry, no matter their background, economical or cultural background, all are supposed to come to universally designed, uh, instruction and contents. Well, many people, however, of course, differ with this, and there is a lot of, um, there is no lack of criticism to this approach and to these models and to these contents. But overall, I would say something that remains consistent is the things that or the skills that the students need to learn in Texas. So that is something which I would say is different, at least from the rest of the states. Um, my day, my here's a brief look to my daily schedule. And of course, this it will be different depending on the grade, the subjects you teach, and the school. No, but this would be an example of my day today. I would start my day at 7:30 a.m. in the school for 7:30 7:40 for a morning huddle, which is a teachers meeting to meet with other teachers every day to see what's new, what's popping, what's the news. So I'll have to meet on the gym before going to the students. There is a part in the day which is from 8 to 8:10, which is called Sisterhood Circle. That is only from the school where I am, and it is just as as the name suggests, it is a gathering or a meeting of all the students in which they do chants, they cheer each other, they celebrate, they share also information from the school and for about them as a community. But also it's a space for students to be heard and for girls to speak and to be able to share their experiences and everything they want to share. No, sometimes the space allows students to do cultural appreciation, like presentations, poetry, music, party, but also serves as a way to, as a more effective way to spread information between the students and to spread um, culture between the school. It is very particular because all these students already know and already learn a lot of chants and a lot of phrases that can be catchy, but would be different if you are not used to that culture, which is that's very particular of the American cultures. Around 8:15 to 8:30, it's going to be a space in the classroom, not all the grades, but in the classroom, which is shine time. And that is the part that corresponds to me as a teacher to provide the students with with an opportunity to have the social emotional learning component. So during this space, I provide students with activities, with instructions and with directions to have like stronger competencies in social emotional skills. Um, the reason to for this is, well, that's only an appreciation of from me from this system is how this system kind of neglected somehow the social emotional components and the formation of these students in that particular aspect. But with these activities, we're trying to rescue that, to provide support to students who struggle with these issues. There are a lot of students who need support, not only academically, but who need support socially, and then being provided with social skills. And that's why this space is designed. And other than that, the rest of my day is just like any other teacher. Um, and just as I was in Colombia, from 8:30 to 8:55, my students would have a reading with me. Then they would go to their specials where they would receive art or they would be taught music, orchestra, whatever it is. This space would be for me as teacher to do my planning. So this will be my planning time. I use this time, always use this time copies or designing activities or meeting with parents or meeting with peer teachers. I always use this around an hour to run errands and do activities here and there. I go back with my students from 9:45 to 1:05, and then my students go to lunch and recess. Um, School provides lunch for students, not for teachers, but that's also a space for us to have lunch. So I bring my own home, my own lunch from home. I bring my coca from home. Uh, and then it's going to be the same for the afternoon from 12 up to 3:10. I'm going to be with a second group of students. Um, the students spend a lot of time in the school. That's why we have to try to diversify the activities as much as we can, and that's why we have to try to include as many components as we can of learning in different aspects and in different ways. One thing that is highly encouraged is the PBL, the project-based learning, because the students would have to learn how to work individually. It is virtually impossible for you as a teacher to spend all your time only providing instruction. You can do instruction for around 20 to 30 minutes, but I would say that most teachers would agree that after that, students get bored. So that's why individual projects and project-based learning is highly encouraged. After school, I usually help with dismissal. That is also one of my teacher duties. And there's always something to do at school, one activity that you need to finish for the next day, or maybe you need to finish your planning for the next week or next day. So there's always something to do at school. It is controversial for teachers, and it is highly criticized how teachers work so much, and even after hours, how teachers in the US work so much. But it is the standard, and it is what is expected from you. Not not in your contract, but culturally, it is what is expected from you. So you have to learn how to balance that and how to lower your standards and how to decrease the pressure that you have for um, for that. For that amount of work, because some teachers, of course, suffer from of burnout and stress for the amount of work. It's been a journey in that aspect as well, which is super different to what I saw and what I experienced in Colombia. Well, this is some photos of my girls on a daily basis. School centers all the time in instruction and learning. Well, students will split their time either working independently or working in groups or on PBL or listening to instruction. In order to take advantage of the time and to keep up with the requirements and the expectations, we have to be very careful with the time. As Colombians, we might not be very strict or very, um, I don't know, picky about the time. But in the US or in Dallas, we do have, and I particularly have had to learn how to deal with that because I have never been a very punctual person. So that's one thing I have to learn, to be prepared and to be punctual, because in a school, every minute counts. So every minute that you spend, every extra minute that you spend on transitions, every extra minute that you spend accommodating or giving directions to your students, it is a minute that is going to be decreased from your instruction, and there is tons of instruction happening. So the expectations are going to be high on you as a teacher. You would have to um, you have to present results, especially on tests. But your students also have to show growth. It is not a matter of saying, no, he's not capable, or just, no, I could not. But you have to show, or the students have to show growth. So every minute counts. Many schools, however, spend a lot of time in other kinds of activities. Here are my girls on their shine time. Usually, because of the school motto, they will be the ones that would lead these spaces. And since students spend so much time in school, it is crucial to develop social skills. And all of these spaces suffice for that. Yeah. Mm, I don't know if you have any questions or I should make a pause or just continue. I did see one question about how to become a teacher at the Dallas ISD, and I will talk about that in a minute. But yeah, there's a couple of activities that we do after school or outside of the school. There are some other moments or spaces that are focused on fun and learning, such as field trips and learning experiences in spaces that the Dallas ISD has partnership with or that the Dallas ISD uses as spaces for learning. Mm, Now, one cultural shock that I definitely had was, as I mentioned before, the work culture. Everything is planned and well organized, and the American system values a lot of the time that you spend at work. Um, as I said before, coming from Colombia, that was a big change because we're more festive, and I was not expected to spend so much time after school or to use so much of my free time to plan or to work. So that's been something that definitely shocked me and that has um, gotten me into a little bit of stress at moments, but I have tried to learn how to manage. And then ultimately you have to if you want to be successful and to keep on teaching and working in the US. Um, but one thing that is really positive is that teachers, at least the teachers that I work with, are super caring, are super generous about the learning and about the teaching methods that they have. So you will be supported, you will be with people who understand you and that know how you feel, but also from teachers that you can admire and that you can learn from. Um, well, the main purpose of the J1 program is to help with these bilingual needs, to teach to these bilingual kids, but also to offer a different point of view and to offer students a different perspective of the world. Some of the families that I work with and some of the kids that I work with have never left Texas, or some of them haven't even left Dallas during their whole life. So Dallas and Texas is everything they know. And then having someone who is from other country, from a different background, from a different country, and who has a very strong accent like I do, it's kind of exciting and it's a mixture of emotions. Most kids are will be curious about that. Some others will have less to say about that, but they will be very welcoming. In general terms, working with kids offers you a perspective, um, and offers you a way to show you not only as a teacher but as a world citizen, as a person who comes from a different background. Um, from my experience, some of the biggest challenges, uh, are focused on these groups. A big challenge or a huge challenge was the language. Southern states in Texas has a different accent, and they do have an accent which I had to get used to. And when you're going abroad, it is different to talk in the classroom as a student of English as a foreign language, right? But experiencing it brings you moments of brain freeze in which you don't know how to handle, how to speak, or even how to, how to respond to specific moments. Um, Another challenge or big challenge for me was definitely the classroom management, because the educational system in Dallas in Texas is heavily supported, and the capacity of teachers to manage their classroom and to effectively teach, you have to do that. So I had to learn how to do that. I was not very strong in that. That is one of my growths and one of the things I had to grow and to work on because I'm not I was not very good at classroom management, especially with small kid with little kids. But now I think I'm getting stronger in that. But of course, you would have to adapt to new expectations. You will be facing emotional and work burnout, and then even if you are the most independent person, there will be a point in which you will have to be away from family, and you will have to uh, rely on the friends and on the people that surround you in order to be successful. But there's a lot of growth. I have discovered many things that, as a teacher, I would say that have given me the chance to see and experience teaching in a different way. There is a lot of emphasis on consistency and the use of technology, and then different ways in which you have to keep your students engaged, and many other things that you have to use in order to be successful. Um, and then, of course, you have to be ready to relearn and to learn as much as you can to be a teacher, um, a successful teacher. That's what they like to call it. But for me, it's just being able to transmit knowledge and to be able to teach in a very respectful and effective way. Mm, mm, I I would have never done this, or I would have never been able to go through this experience without the support of friends. So one of the things I would say, if you want to be a J1 teacher, or want to become a J1 teacher, or even decide to migrate, it's to surround yourself with people who already know. So listening from mentor teachers is important. Um, Providing a school community, or providing yourself with a school community, is super important. People that you know what to ask or who to ask to if you have any questions. Um, that's super important. And then, of course, the friends that I have made along the way are super important. Had old friends living in the US that I had the chance to reconnect with, but also new friends that became super important to me along this way, along this journey, have been super crucial to me and to my success. So if you ever come to be a J1 teacher, or want to become a teacher in the US, I would say providing yourself with supporting systems, emotional supporting systems, it's key. You have to be prepared because you don't know, it's uncertain in some ways. So being a teacher and being abroad and working abroad, discovering a new everything, um, it's challenging emotionally and mentally. So having people who understand and know you, it's super important. I don't know if I have J1s or future J1 teachers in the webinar, or watching me or listening me. That would be great, because I think everybody needs a little bit of guidance, a little bit of support and encouragement for the decision that we're about to make. And then, yeah, just to answer the question that I saw in the chat, just wanted to tell you my takeaways of this experience. And the first one is that migrating changes you for the good. Of course, for the bad as well, but for the good mostly, if you're strong enough. And then nothing is forever, neither the good or the bad. The good experiences are always welcome, but bad experiences as well, because they come and they go. They teach you something, and now you're a little bit less naive about life and about things and how things work. Um, people are more capable than they think, so you can achieve whatever you want if you set your mind to it. That's practical lesson that I have learned along this way. And then, yes, of course, we have to be aware of the money. When you're abroad, every cent, every dollar counts. So you have to be aware of the money. And then, if you're wondering whether you're capable, well, chances are you are. Uh, and then, yeah, just to answer the question, then Ruth asks, what do I need to become a teacher in Dallas if I'm from Colombia? Well, the essential requirements are at least 2 years of teaching experience. It does not necessarily has to be on um, it does not necessarily has to be on elementary, but it can be particular for Dallas ISD, it can be any kind of teaching experience, whether it's high school, elementary, or university levels, any experience work, as long as it is 2 years of experience. And then also Dallas ISD is asking their J1 candidates to have the certification, the language certification. So um, you'd have to provide a language proficiency exam, whether it's TOEFL or IELTS. I think those are the only ones that the Dallas ISD J1 visa program is expecting you to have. So yeah, the teaching experience, um, the language requirement. Also, you'd have to provide your records, your academical records. So you have to translate your transcripts of your grades, undergraduate or postgraduate, masters, if you have. So you would have to provide transcripts, and then you would have to do a report of credentials. The report of credentials, it's the the report of credentials is the study that the Department of Education does to your the way they know that you are competent enough to teach, or that you have a degree on a specific field. In this case, it could be education. So any degree in education from Colombia will work as long as you do the translation and then you do the um, the report of transcripts. Here is the presentation. I think this is the presentation that the Dallas ISD International Recruitment Department used to um, to uh, to provide information for the people who wanted to become J1 visa teachers. My bad. I think they increased the experience. Oh no, sorry. This is the types of visa. Let me see if I can find the J1 visa. But yeah, that's pretty much what you would need. You need your transcripts, you need your experience, and you would need your language certificate. And then of course you need to apply to the Dallas ISD platform in order to obtain the job. Um, Thank you, Mr. Morales. Uh, Teacher Nessa asks, if I had my tourist visa denied before, can I apply to this program? Yes, you can, because that is a totally different program. That is a totally different visa and a different process. I would say the advantage to apply as a J1 teacher is that you would have the sponsorship of the Dallas ISD, um, which is the sponsor, or the institution that would provide or that would claim support to your status, to your visa status as you're working in the US. So yes, you can definitely apply to them to be a J1 teacher, even if you have been denied another visa. Is there anybody institution that can support with the procedure? Uh, or a Dallas ISD, unfortunately, no, because Dallas ISD um, is direct contractors, so they are the ones that are doing the sponsorship directly. there are other institutions. There is a lot of programs that will walk with you throughout all the process. Let's say GEC, uh, International Educational Concepts, EPI. Well, there are many companies that bring J1 teachers to the US, but Dallas ISD does not operate as a third party because all of those are third parties. Dallas ISD would not operate as a third party. They would provide a sponsorship there directly to you as your employee. So there is not an institution that would guide you like step to step, like what to do. But they do have informational sessions every now and then. And then you can visit the recruitment page, the human capital management page of the Dallas ISD. I will share the links in a little bit on the chat. And also the Dallas ISD J1 delegates or the Dallas ISD J1 people regarding all these visa uh, um, issues will be the people who will be in contact with you. But even though there is not a body like a person that will guide you like every step, step through step, you will know what to do because you will be informed and you will be guided through all the steps. Let me share. This is the presentation that I think I'm taking the freedom of sharing this presentation, which is the what the Dallas Independent um, School District J1 visa program uses for their candidates, for the international candidates. So you can maybe you can peek a little bit or just use it as a checkpoint. There is information for the people who are the checkpoints or the contact points for this program, so you can contact them and they will most likely answer all your questions. So um, yeah. I don't know if I answered all your questions. If you have more questions, yeah. If you wanted to reach out, feel free to reach out to my mail, and then I will be happy to uh, help you or to guide you through any step that you need. And then I don't know if you can hear me, Andrea.
Yes, I can.
Okay,
All
perfect.
right. Thank you so much. It was a very interesting, very insightful presentation. And like this webinar, I hope it's very useful to all the people that are J1 expectant. So thank
Hmm.
you so much. Yeah, we can see your email right now in the chat box.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you to all the people who attended and lended me a little bit of their time to for me to share these experiences. Thank you for the invitation, and thank you for Professor Jonathan and Asokopi for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so let me share the screen with everybody
Mhm.
again. Give me a second. Dun, dun, dun. All right, yes. If you have other questions for Professor Demid, of course, you can submit that in the chat box.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I responded to a couple of people.
Yeah, most of them, I think.
Thank you. No,
Now,
thank you
yes,
so
if you have
much.
any other questions, you can obviously send a message to, like, an email to Professor Demid. I guess he will answer any other questions you may have in the future.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
thank you. I'm going to try to share my screen, and you tell me if you can see the full screen. Yes, okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So teachers, if you are interested in receiving a certificate of attendance, you can scan this QR code that you have over there, or you simply access asacopy.org and you can make a small donation because, well, we are, yes, like a nonprofit organization, but we also need some funds to help us with these events and to just support our association. So yes, you can scan the QR code or go to the www.asacopy.org, and there's a space that says donations. I want to take advantage of these minutes that I have left to tell you a little bit about our workshops, okay? Our diploma courses, they are very small courses, what we call Taller Express, because as you can see, they're only 12 hours. So we have 4 hours that are synchronous and 8 hours asynchronous work. And our next course is this one with Professor Sergio Pedraza. Now, if you will have more information, you can also find this in our website, or you can also be attentive to our social media. We are going to upload more information there. For example, yesterday, we started with our course. These are some of our students from yesterday. And well, you can be one of those smiley faces there and have some extra information, learn some more things. So you are invited to join this adventure. And last but not least, here are our social media channels. So you can find us on Facebook, on X. We are very strong on Instagram. We try to upload different things. And obviously this webinar is going to be uploaded to our YouTube channel. Now, if you have some questions or if you would like to partner with Asacopy, here's also the email. And well, I'm going to give you a moment to take a screenshot just in case you are interested in this. And I want to invite you to our next webinar. We are going to have this on July 30th, and it's called Challenges of Teaching and Researching Coloniality in Multilingual Context with Dr. Olga Camila Hernandez from Universidad Javeriana. You are more than invited to join us on this special webinar. And well, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. We will see you in our next webinar. Professor Caviedes, again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great evening, and then be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, goodbye, everybody. We
Bye.
will see you in our next webinar. All right.